Hello everyone and welcome back to the Common Sense Crypto channel. As with you always, this is Rich doing another video today on XRP. So I hope you're all having a wonderful day today wherever you are in this great world. We're gonna talk about XRP. And right now everybody is hyping up the fact that Ripple is becoming a bank. And let me tell you something, I am very excited about that myself. But this comes from all things XRP. This is what Ripple has ahead of them to obtain a U.S. bank charter. Over a year of paperwork, approval from OCC, FDIC, and the Federal Reserve. Capital demands like $16 million Tier 1 for $200 million in assets. CRA, AML, BSA compliance, deposit insurance hurdles, dual charter maze, state versus federal. This won't happen by the end of the year, but it is still positive news. As always, with any investment, patience is the key. Now, I know everybody wants Ripple to become a bank today, but everything happens over a period of time. The good thing is it's no longer talk anymore. Brad confirmed this is happening. This is the direction Ripple is going in. So no matter how you look at this, this is very bullish for XRP. And I got this wrong in yesterday's video. 500 million XRP unlocked as Ripple sends 400 million XRP to escrow. So notably, the number falls short of the typical 1 billion XRP unlocked from the Ripple escrow account monthly. While there have not been any other escrow unlocks at the time of writing, there could still be more releases during the course of the month. Meanwhile, Ripple released 500 million XRP and locked back 400 million. Will they unlock the other 500 million? Most likely sometime within the month of July. Let's see what happens. I just wanted to clear that up. This comes from John Squire. Boom. A wild glitch just showed $691,667 per XRP on a live tracker. Glitch, error, or is the system telling us something early? You know, I always said these glitches that we see, I think it's them testing XRP at different price points. You got to remember, the banks are still in the testing phase. Once the banks go live, that's when we will see a much different price on XRP. Now, could you imagine XRP already breaking out and those banks coming out of the testing phase at the same time? That would be absolutely incredible. But like I always said, glitches will one day turn into riches. This comes from David Schwartz on XRP's future. Next year, you'll see institutional adoption and big dollar inflows. DeFi will solve real-world problems like payments. Expect loans, savings, checking, retirement accounts, mass adoption of XRP Ledger in 3 to 5 years. Take a listen.
That's going to enable the sort of widespread adoption over the 3 to 5 year time frame. I think you're going to see the next wave of DeFi applications that solve real world problems like payments, like sensible investments, like loans. Yeah, I mean, if you think about what do people use, you know, they have savings accounts, they have checking accounts, they have retirement accounts. I think you're going to see that mass adoption where people get those traditional financial services from blockchains like the XRP Ledger over that 3 to 5 year time frame. As far as the TP.
Now, a lot of people said, so we have to wait another 3 to 5 years. Absolutely not. We are going to have a massive institutional wave first. That's going to happen, and it's already starting to happen. I expect that to continue over the next 12 months. That's going to lead us to mass adoption, which is still most likely maybe 2 to 4 years away. Anytime they say 3 to 5 years, you could shed a year off of that. That's what I noticed in this space. Everybody's still citing 2030 as the big year. But look at how fast things are accelerating right now. Technology is not slowing down. We have institutions that want to get into this space as soon as possible. We have institutions that see the problems with SWIFT. They want an alternative to SWIFT. They don't want to wait days for their money to go from the United States to the EU anymore. They want that money to show up on the other end before they even hang up the phone. Things are going to happen so much quicker, and it's going to be like a network effect. All of a sudden, a couple of businesses start utilizing XRP on a daily basis. Other businesses, which is most likely their competition, they take notice. Now they got to start using XRP to stay competitive. And all of a sudden, before you know it, we have mass institutional adoption. And then those institutions, they will get the POS systems at the local merchant involved. They will get everybody outside of crypto right now involved in crypto as well. It's going to happen so much quicker than most people think. But the price of XRP is going to change dramatically in 2025. You don't have to wait 3 to 5 years. That's for sure. This comes from Smoke. Institutional asset managers will begin tokenizing their assets by the end of 2025. And you see it right here. 22% plan to begin tokenizing their assets by the end of this year. And Atkins is opening that up. He says tokenization is an innovation and the agency is committed to advancing it. Take a listen.
Tokenization is an innovation, and we at the SEC should be focused on how do we advance innovation in the marketplace. And so I would argue here over the last several years, the SEC has been standing athwart efforts to innovate in the marketplace because things have been unclear. The rules have not been clear. We've had regulation through enforcement. That day is over. We are now, my whole goal is to make things transparent, from the regulatory aspect, and give people a firm foundation upon which to innovate and to come out with new products, and so that they know what they're doing.
I think
the SEC is no longer standing in the way. The problem we had for the last 4 years was Gary Gensler didn't want anything to happen in the United States. He was working for crooked politicians like Elizabeth Warren and the big banks. So he tried to hold everything back as long as he can. Now we got Paul Atkins, who wants everything to push forward even faster now. And I'm expecting tokenization to really pick up a lot of momentum later this year. Take a listen to David Stryzewski. He's talking about tokenized gold, silver, platinum, and palladium in the ground.
And also the Stablecoin Act, which just went through, is another one to be paying attention to. This is now going to be the primary driver of treasury purchases. Many people don't know this, but stablecoins are purchasing a long-dated treasury underneath them. We need an answer right now as a nation as we continue to print and print and print. We don't have an answer to not do that. But it also made provision for above-ground assets. And Scott, I think that there's a third version of stablecoin that will be coming out here in the next year or so. I hope to be a part of this organization doing this, but this would be real world assets and tokenizing them like gold, silver, platinum, palladium, leaving it in the ground where God safely put it and turning that into a coin that we can absolutely share is literally there. And so if we can do these by stable coins, I think that we can ultimately see more stability in some of the finances and ultimately see a system go from being fiat backed to more asset backed, which I think ultimately everyone agrees is a more fair idea as the strategic wealth reserve of our nation.
Imagine stable coins backed by precious metals that are still in the ground. They want to tokenize everything. People keep acting like tokenization is not going to be a big deal. They're going to tokenize every single thing around you of value. And you're going to have businesses tokenizing themselves, putting out their tokens so other people could invest into their business. There's going to be so many options for investors with tokenization. And I remember this was talked about in the past. They were talking about these third world countries starting a whole new economy because of tokenization. I think Hedera was the first one to be talking about this, Lehman Baird, where these third world countries can tokenize all of their minerals that are in the ground and start their economy up again that way. And I mean, that would level the playing field as well. Tokenization is going to be absolutely massive. The World Economic Forum did not call it a $830 trillion market for no reason. It is going to be absolutely huge. The XRP ledger is flourishing. Achieved 5.1 million transactions in a 24-hour period, driven by network utility rather than hype. Demonstrates XRP ledger's enterprise-grade adoption potential. The XRP ledger just keeps gaining more and more momentum. And I'm expecting that to amp up as well as we see more stable coins onboarding to the XRP ledger. Think about those central bank digital currencies going live on the XRP ledger. That's going to happen later this year as well. I think there's like one of them that are due to go live in December of 2025. The other ones, they look more likely in 2026 and 2027. But I'm expecting transactions to pick up on the ledger. We're seeing more wallet addresses now. People are getting excited about XRP again. Everything's changing in this space because now people could see what's coming for XRP. You don't need that vision anymore. XRP price could reach between $8 and $15 if XRP adoption surges after the end of the SEC lawsuit. But then they go on to cite this closed-door meeting with the SEC scheduled for today. You know, whenever they have these closed-door meetings, we've watched them come and go every single month while we were waiting on the Ripple versus SEC case to come to an end. This case is going to be announced that it's over when everyone least expects it. I would be shocked if it happens today. But again, that will be the news. What happens after that is going to be the real value. First of all, I think XRP needs to recover from all the suppression from the Ripple versus SEC case. Maybe that gets us to $8 to $13. Then you put that together with institutional adoption and institutional announcements happening at the same time, and these institutions starting to buy and lock away XRP, things change very quick. Then we could see the price go so much higher during alt season. But right now, it's like we're still waiting for it to happen. And until it does happen, stay patient, stay positive, and let's get rich together. With that said, I'm going to wrap up this video. I want to thank you all for watching. I appreciate all of you. I'll see you in the next one. Have a great night.